one.
Me too, me too. It is time for our match number 4. It is set 1. It's pre-ban time.
It is pre-ban time, and Chene obviously having the Arta Ragdoll. I think Ragdoll is something to pre-ban, yes, definitely. And then Hathor on the side of Blue being pre-banned. So first turn goes to Chene. I'm expecting a speed lead, something to kind of, I think Sierra, something like that, because we see Sierra so oftenly picked, so well ruined with the artifacts. But we see the Okeanos, which Blue also really likes to pick, and the Hathor also already picked out by the pre-ban, so he's taking away monsters out of Blue's
Exactly,
pocket.
and we see Blue respond with the Elenoa and a Ganymede. I think, if I'm correct, this is the first Elenoa that we are seeing in SWC this year, and that is a deadly combination. They can reset each other off and work off that, and Chene responds with the Leo Artamiel. We know how much he loves his Leo, and who doesn't love Artamiel, right?
Oh yeah, who doesn't love Artamiel? If you have it in your own box. So there's the Elenoa and the Ganymede. They go so well together. I think this, even though you banned out the Okeanos, you picked the Okeanos yourself and you banned out the Hathor, these two have so much potential to control your composition. And I really like the side of Chene with the Leo and the Artamiel. So he says, you might have a lot of speed on your monsters, but I'm gonna negate it all.
Exactly, but I love the response coming in from Blue with the Tessarion, which is a great response to 3 of the units now from Chene. Both Juno, Artamiel, and Leo. He can block their passives and make them virtually useless, especially the Leo. And he pairs it up with a Beta, and Chene responds with a Vigor Juno. And we see, wow!
The Dark Sylph. That is huge. It's kind of the budget. No, not budget. It's kind of a Hathor, but brought in with the speed lead. It's a really good composition on the side of Blue. It syncs very well with the first 2 monsters, and with the Tessarion, like you said, shows a lot of pressure on the passives on Chene's side. So it's banned out by Chene as well. Tessarion off the board, Juno off the board. I'm very hyped how this is going to go out. Who is going to take the first turn? Well, obviously Leo is the fastest monster in the game, but afterwards I'm very, very curious.
Exactly, and Blue is coming in all willed up, and we don't see a Will Rune on 3 monsters coming in from Chene. This reset is crucial. He has to land it.
He has to land it, but then again, on what monster do you land it? Because there's so much pressure on 3 monsters of Blue. So there is the reset on the Ganymede, which is, I think, the good idea. But there is gonna be a lot of sleeps with the Dark Sylph right there.
Exactly. This is gonna be a long one, guys. Prepare for a long battle coming in. And there will be a lot of turn cycling. Blue will be taking maybe 10-15 times more turns compared to Chene, if I had to guess.
Yeah, definitely. But the speed buff, it's really nice on the side of Chene. His monsters, like we've seen, are quite fast. Okeanos and Vigor moving before the monsters of Blue. So he is gonna definitely take some turns, but there's gonna be so many sleeps.
Exactly, but Leo is resisting the sleep, which can be huge, because there is no sustain coming in from the side of Blue. Instead of a sustain, Elenoa will be slowly dealing damage to her own team.
Yeah, there is indeed not a lot of sustain, but Dark Mermaid does definitely have some sustain. Beta showing some protection, but also some attack bar manipulation with the second skill and some heals. It is quite strong. If Chene manages to take out a monster with the Vigor third skill paired up with the Leo nuke, there's still not the end of that monster. Beta has revived, and there's a lot of resets on the skills on the side of Blue.
Exactly, but we see Chene resisting some crucial hits. He is resisting, the Vigor is resisting the attack bar decrease coming in from the Dark Sylph, but we see Okeanos having full reign, and he gets a quad-man stun, which means an extra turn on him. Things are not looking that great for Blue right now.
Yeah, these resists are huge. The resists on the side of Chene make sure that the monsters can actually still take quite some turns. and there is the protection again on the beta. So there was some turns on the side of Chene, but then again, we're in here for a long game.
Yeah, and do you know which unit from Chene's side loves a long game?
Oh man, this one, the Artemil.
Exactly. That Artemil is slowly getting stronger and stronger, and he's already dishing out some crazy damage. Yeah,
Wow.
This is not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in blue spot right now.
Yeah, so you get a lot of turns on the side of blue, but like you said, monsters on the side of Chene, they go very well into late game. Both the Artemil, but also Leo and also Vigor, they go so well into late game. Vigor with a lot of scaling on attack, with the speed buff and just being able to nuke something down quite quickly. And there's the end of the Dark Sylph, but it's still Beta that is able to revive it.
Exactly, but then when you revive a unit, that S2 goes on a huge cooldown, so you have to really time it well. And then we see a revenge stun coming in from Artemil. Yeah, this Artemil is slowly becoming a monster and is gonna be a huge problem for blue.
Yeah, the power of Artemil with this awesome skin. I love this monster. And indeed, it dishes out so much damage. Paired up with the spare stuns, it is huge. So there's a reset on the Okeanos. Vigor still going strong, and the longer it goes, the stronger it goes. And there's the second monster going on on the side of blue.
Exactly, and Beta won't be able to revive both of those units, and I think blue knows that it's all but over. He's just taking his time, thinking about the upcoming game, thinking about what he could do better. Maybe there's a reason why Hathor is meta and the Dark Sylph isn't, and maybe he has to rethink his thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the side of Chene, showing a lot of pressure on the first turn if you ban out the Leo, but then also if you don't ban out the Leo, the monsters just take so many turns, and I think there's a couple of monsters stacked with some resistance. Otherwise, he got a bit lucky, but the composition was also just on point.
Yeah, this could be a triple tolerance Vigor for all I know.
Yeah, who knows? It actually worked out really well. So blue with the 3 red stars not taking the first round.
We figured that it may have the duration of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and we weren't disappointed. It was an epic battle. It was a long game, but it really played to Chene's strengths there, Ulti.
Exactly, and we're seeing a pretty typical Chene draft coming in here, and blue was just not ready for it. Maybe he wasn't ready for the Hathor ban coming in from Chene, but I definitely want to see more explosive stuff. I want to see more damage coming in from blue. What's the purpose of a beta if you are not gonna have units that you want to keep alive and dish out some damage? Because beta, you usually choose it to go for the late game, and I did not like blue's draft at all.
No, I mean, DGP, what's blue going to do now, do you think, differently? How can he switch things up?
I think he made a preparation against Ractal. He probably did, because he pre-banned it in the first fight. And with Ractal being on the board, it's definitely going to be a different game. Hathor is also going to be on the board, showing a lot of pressure. So I'm very, very curious. I think it's going to be a different game, and I think we're going to see Okeanos on the side of blue as well this time, which is also some of his key monsters, one of his key monsters. So yeah, I'm really curious.
Yeah, and I'd like to see an Artemil ban coming in from blue. Yeah, as we were expecting, and an Oberon ban coming in from Chene. Even though blue did not go for the Light Fairy King in the first game, Chene knows that blue has that unit under his belt, and maybe he's a little afraid of that.
Yeah, it's obviously going very well with Hathor, with the second skill. It's basically Gani Hathor, but then with a little bit more pressure, a little bit less control of the third skill of Gani, but a lot of control going in with turn skill 2 of the Oberon. So that's a nice ban on the side of Chene, I think. Then there is going to be Okeanos and Gani taking away these monsters of blue. Chene did his homework really well, I think. For
sure, and you don't want to let anyone have that Gani Hathor combination. We've seen it already once today, and blue is going for a similar draft, but this time the real Hathor instead of the Dark Hathor.
Yeah, exactly. So the Juno going in again, it was banned last game by Blue, so he knows he doesn't want to see this Juno. Juno obviously doing a lot of damage with the artifacts on skill 1, and also giving some pressure on the third skill of the beta. Together with the Vigor, I like the draft of Chene. Let's see what Blue brings, because he needs some more aggressive style. He has the Hathor, and he needs some more damage.
Exactly, and we're not seeing Chene drafting his Ragdoll, which is pretty interesting because we all know how strong of a unit it is to pretty much any sort of team composition. Blue is taking in this time, he's taking my advice and going a little bit on the aggressive, and not having Gani, the Eleanor will do way less work, but she can still pair up well with these units, and he's rounding the draft off with the Dark Hathor.
Dark Hathor coming in again. There is a lot of sleeps on the side of Blue. So what do you need to counter those sleeps? I think maybe immunity. There's not a lot of strips on the side of Blue. Immunity or Ragdoll could be a pre-ban, a ban on a force ban on the side of Chene. So it is the Mayha one. Obviously going in a little bit stronger against the double sleep composition than against the Gani Hathor composition, because there's a little bit less attack bar reduction. So the Barbara gets banned out, and I'm not sure if Blue has enough damage. This is almost a copy of the previous game.
Exactly, that Mayhoang is going to be very scary, especially with that Barbara getting banned. That Barbara was Blue's only way of directly dealing with that Mayhoang. I can see a Fire Monkey solo already.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long game again, and it might be a Mayhoang that is very premium. So there's a resist on the side of Eleanor. Hathor taking a turn. Hathor probably going for the sleep on Vigor, yes, and she lands it. Then there's some protection on the side of Beta, some attack bar manipulation by the Eleanor, giving it back to herself.
That was pretty interesting. Was that a misclick? I was sure that she was gonna give that attack bar to Hathor instead, but she's choosing to go for herself. That's a pretty interesting choice. And we see Gani still magicking on the Eleanor, and he's like, yeah, you made a mistake with the S3, I'm not gonna let you even try it once again. And Hathor is now having free reign on the enemy team. She's gonna be able to sleep everyone except that Fire Monkey.
Yeah, I actually quite like his idea behind giving herself another turn, because she is obviously packed with armor break in her kit, and there was the Dark Hathor also being able to sleep everyone. So I don't think he had to give another turn to Hathor, but I think it's idea of, you know, I don't have that much damage in my composition, but I definitely need my armor break.
Exactly, and actually Blue is doing some pretty solid damage on this Fire Monkey. He has to really get rid of him, because that Fire Sylphid is looking like a very juicy target for the Fire Monkey with the defense break on him.
Yeah, definitely. So there is not going to be skill 2 by Eleanor, but there is going to be a skill 2 on the Dark Hathor with the attack bar steal. So he gets another turn quite quickly already. And this is going to be another sleepy monster.
Exactly, but that Mayhoang is fully stacked now, and we saw that he was on Revenge Runes. He has to make that count. He's almost gone, but maybe will he be able to take that unit with him? He is not able to, and he's going down.
Wow, and now we're looking at 3v4 with no revives on the side of Chene, and there's some revive, some heal, some sustain on the side of Blue going into the longer game. Doesn't have crit damage on this Vigor, I think, because he landed the armor break quite quickly, but not being able to finish it off. And now we're going back to some sleepy monsters, and let's see who Blue is going to go for as the next target.
Exactly, I think that would be Gani, because Gani, when your other two teammates are sleeping, is not super useful. He needs he's working off his other teammates. He is not a very strong unit on his own, especially when his S3 is on cooldown.
That's a very good point right there. Going for the Ganymede. If this Ganymede is down, it would be all down to Vigor being able to proc enough to dish out enough damage. But we've seen this Vigor not doing that much damage. I am very much looking forward to seeing Blue and Chene in the next draft, because it's quite similar, and this time I think Blue got the short end of the stick.
Exactly, and Ganymede, yeah, Chene is choosing to pick the Ganymede off of Blue, but Blue is saying I have the luxury version of Ganymede with Elenoa, which is doing a pretty similar job as a Ganymede, powering up those Hathor S3s, lowering her cooldown, and making it a piece of cake for Blue in this match.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of cake, definitely. There's so much control with the double Hathor into Elenoa composition, but there was also not a lot of resist this time, not a lot of big resists, needly to say. He's seen that the attack bar of Beta is going first, going before Okeanos, so he is able to give himself some protection before this Okeanos is able to do some interesting skills. His third skill was up, but there is a lot of protection. So this is a 1-1, and we're going into third game.
We certainly are. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Blue there mastered the art of sleep. I mean, it was perfect. It did anything but send us to sleep at home, though, because it was electric to see how he utilized it so well. It's great to see Blue come back there, different tactical style, and ultimately he's brought it back to 1-1.
Exactly. I liked also the pun that you just made there, and
thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my time to appreciate a nice pun. And we saw Chene taking away 2 of Blue's favorite units, Gany and Okeanos, but Blue once again he's saying I don't need Gany when I have a light Polar Queen who is pretty much doing a similar job, plus giving a attack bar to Hathor. And once he took out the Meiho Wang, it was just like it was like solitaire, as our US casters say. It was just it looked like a one-player game, you know, a single-player game out of Blue coming in once the Meiho Wang was down.
Absolutely. I mean, we now go into the third and final set of this match. Whoever wins this one goes through to the winner's bracket to compete this afternoon. The other go to the loser bracket next weekend. Everything is on this set. It's massive. Chaps, pre-bans, let's go.
Yeah, so the pre-ban's going off again. And this is 2 veteran players. They know how to play the third round where it actually matters a lot. So there's a Ragdoll and a Hathor. I think we've seen this before. So there's not going to be the Hathor on the side of Blue. He has the Dark Hathor with the speed lead, so that's going to probably be shown again this game. Or is he going with a different draft with his Oberon being available?
We see Chene is very favoring that Okeanos. He's been taking it, snagging it right away the first chance that he gets. And we see a very similar draft coming in from both players as the first match of the series.
All right, but there's Blue stealing the Vigor and going with the Beta. I really love the Vigor in his composition here, with some more pressure than in the first round, and then also pairing it up with the protection of the Beta. Beta probably really fast, being able to either give himself some protection or being able to give the turn to Ganymede, or maybe what is gonna bring last. Dark Hathor? Who knows?
Exactly. Blue is realizing that in the first game he was heavily lacking damage, and this time he's picking 2 Bruiser, that is Vigor and Tessarion. Tessarion is a great pick against those 4 passive monsters, that is Diana, Juno, Leo, and Artemiel. And will we see another Juno ban? Will we see a Tessarion ban coming in from Chene? Yeah, it's a Leo and a Tessarion ban. That's pretty interesting. Blue is saying I've had enough of you blocking the speed of my runes. I'm gonna show you what I'm made of. I'm gonna show you how fast my runes are, and you're not gonna be able to take many turns.
Yes, so this is the first game we've seen today without a speed lead. This is gonna be really nice to show who has the fastest monsters. Obviously Ganymede awakens into speed, Vigor awakens into speed, but I'm very curious who brings the fastest set to this table. There's obviously gonna be a lot of protection on the side of Blue with the Beta, and then also a lot of turn control with the Elenoa and the Ganymede. They work together so well, so I'm very curious what that's gonna bring. And this Diana is gonna be obviously the first target because of her passive.
Exactly, and we see the Beta trying to land the S1 strip on the Diana, but she is not getting it. And we see a strip coming in, a cooldown reset coming in on the Juno. He may want to use this S2 when the Juno's skill 2 is off cooldown.
Yeah, so he's now safe to do that. And Diana goes in, anti-crit. How often is she able to crit? I've seen a lot of strips, a lot of crits. So good job on this Diana, going back to unicorn form and not taking another turn, but she doesn't have to yet. She doesn't dish out that much damage, but it is enough.
And
there's
a
a
quad
four-man
stun coming in from Okeanos.
Wow, I think it was so huge that this Okeanos was faster than this beta. We saw it in the first round resetting the Ganymede, but then especially in the second round of turns, we see this Okeanos moving before the beta. And I think Blue was scared of this Juno attack bar moving before Okeanos and being able to strip, but actually it was a misplay because his Elanoa Ganymede, I think it moved before the Juno, so he was able to reset the Juno before getting another turn.
Exactly, and we see a very similar problem that Blue is facing right now as he faced in the game 1. The game is going long and Chen is bringing 2 units that scale extremely well into the late game that are Artemiel and Diana.
Yeah, and this game is different because Vigor is on the side of Blue, and I'm very curious how this Vigor is how much damage this Vigor is gonna dish out. Obviously, in the first round of turns, he went for the second skill, making himself able to cycle more. But I'm very curious how much it's gonna go. What he's gonna go for now. Okeanos is able to return it, and Juno is going to be able to get the turn back with her passive. It doesn't work that well, but he goes for the Juno, and is he going to be able to finish off this Juno?
I don't think so. There's a heal coming in from Artemiel, but that was a huge damage coming in on the Juno, meaning that once the HPs go down and the attack goes up, that Juno might be one-shotted by this Vigor.
Yeah, definitely. This Vigor does deal a lot of damage and is going to be a very, very annoying monster going into late for Chene to deal with. So we see some resets, we see some turn cycling. Everything is looking very healthy. Like we was stated before, this is going to be a long game.
Exactly, and that Juno landing 3 crits through anti-crit. She's saying, I don't care about the anti-crit that you have, and she's going to be able to strip and put the dots down now. Once the Vigor moves, yeah, she's going to be able to go for the S2. Will she choose to do so? Exactly. She's landing a Despair stun on the Vigor. That's huge. Things are looking very good for Chene right now.
Wow, and then these moments are crucial. When you go into a late game, the RNG factor, it goes up. With the Juno stunning all the monsters that were not stunned yet, and you see there's so much damage that he can dish out now because there was no beta that was able to give a little bit of protection. There was no turn cycling with the Ganymede and the Elanoa, and suddenly it all looks very, very bad for Blue.
Exactly. This is looking to be the last game that Blue will be playing today. He has to rethink his strategy through. He has to maybe work a bit about how he can play when he doesn't have that Hathor, because we've seen him struggle both games where Hathor was banned.
Yeah, definitely. And this game, it was a very, very intense fight because there was so much going around, so much moments where RNG was in factor, and I think Blue was had a little bit less of a composition because he was not really able to deal with this Diana passive, so he had to focus the Diana, but then